Oh, well, look at this. A new look ASN Elite 8 of college hockey. Minnesota, Duluth, and Denver maintaining their spots at the top, but it's Harvard up 2 notches to number 3, winning the Beanpot tournament. Boston University, number 4. Minnesota in the 5th spot. Boston College, Union, and Western Michigan are out, replaced by UMass Lowell, Penn State, and Providence. How about that? Welcome to College Hockey Now. I'm John Evanson, along with our ASN hockey guru, Brendan Jones. So much to talk about this week.
Oh, man, we're starting to wind down in this season for sure.
Yeah, we kind of knew the Friars were going to crack that Elite 8 one of these days, but they've now won 9 straight games thanks to Eric Foley's hat trick over UConn. They're looking great.
Yeah, they certainly are. And he's been a different player ever since the World Junior Tournament, where he really did elevate his game. But this whole team, as a whole unit, they've really come together, found their identity, a gritty, hard-nosed team supporting each other up and down the ice.
All right, well, here's a sure sign that the second season is fast approaching here. Bemidji State already hoisting the McNaughton Cup, what is the Western Collegiate Hockey Association's championship trophy after a 3-2 win at the University of Alabama Huntsville. This is a team that was unbeaten in its first 13 WCHA games. It's their 22nd conference title of all time. There it is. Hoist it, boys.
And now joining us from those WCHA champion Beavers, Michael Bitzer, star goaltender. Michael, thanks for coming on. And what's the feeling like up there? Champs already?
Feels great. Feels good to get it over with before this bye week, or else that would have been a long 7 days. So feels pretty good to bring the trophy back home.
And like you mentioned, you have a bye week. Still a good amount of time in this regular season. Some would say, there's still a lot of time for this team to lose focus before the conference tournament. How do you maintain such a high level of play?
Well, I think this bye week actually helps us a lot. Gives us time to, we celebrate the regular season champs, the McNaughton Cup, but then next week we go back to work and move on and with the focus of playoffs.
Well, you mentioned that this bye week's going to help you. How does this bye week help you maybe shape and form the identity of this team that you guys have worked so hard to actually get?
Well, I think first of all, it lets us, we got a few guys a little banged up, so it lets us, regroup a little bit, and then, just gives us time to work on our identity and focus on the things that we do well, and a little more, detailed stuff instead of just trying to get ready for the weekend.
Experience is a big part of this team. When I spoke to Saratori earlier in the season, he said we have a lot of seniors, a lot of juniors, yourself included, that lead the way. How important has the upper class been to this team?
I think it's been huge. We've had a lot of guys who've been here for a while, and when we came in, we weren't winning right away. So I think we've been through the ups and the downs between us juniors and the seniors, and I think we know what it takes to be successful in this league. I think that's been huge for us.
And obviously I'm going to ask you about yourself. Your play has been unreal up until this point in the season, lead the nation in goals against average. Why do you think you've elevated your play to, in fact, another level this season?
I think, just trying to be prepared every day and be as professional as I can, and, just do things the right way. And that's the mindset of our team, and I feel like all of our guys are doing the same thing, and you're just around good quality people every day, and it brings out the best in everyone. All
right, Michael Bitzer, I told you it wouldn't be too long. You could head off to practice. WCHA champion, regular season champion, that is. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Practices will be more intense than ever because Bemidji knows that their goals, they're far from reached here. I mean, they have to win their conference if they want to make it to the NCAA tournament. And I mean, last year, how sour was that? They learned that the hard way.
Yeah, for sure. Both two teams that co-shared that McNaughton Cup last year, Minnesota State and Michigan Tech, didn't go to the NCAA tournament. We saw Ferris State emerge from the ashes and just get hot at the right time of the year. So they are definitely poised to do it, and I think they have the pieces to do it. They have the Fitzgerald triplets that are very good. Marinaccio, I mentioned that they are a very old, experienced team, so I think they can and will, but but I mean, it's tough. Tech's good, Ferris State is good, Minnesota State is good as well, so it's going to be a tough road to that NCAA tournament.
Lots of pressure for the players, but for fans, man, is it fun to watch. I mean, so much at stake. For those who can't wait for the playoffs, though, we experienced the closest thing to playoff hockey this past Monday when Harvard beat Boston University, the Beanpot tournament, with the 65th Beanpot tournament. I think it was their first win, yes it was, since 1993. Huge deal if you're a team from Boston, so Harvard still celebrating tonight.
Very, very good effort from the Crimson as well. You just listen to Coach Quinn after the game. He said, we got outshot, we got outplayed, we got outhit. No doubt about it, the better team won, and that's from the losing coach. So this Harvard team did all the right things. Ted Donato pushed all the right buttons. Speaking of Donato, his son, one of the purest goal scorers in all of college hockey. I mean, this kid, Ryan Donato, has so much skill. He buried in that Beanpot final as well. But if you just look at the game from a wide point of view, BU got killed on the power play. 2 5-on-3 goals. We were slow, in the neutral zone, slow in their own zone. They didn't defend well. So Harvard really did take advantage of it, and you could tell that the senior class wanted it.
Yeah, it's a good gauge for both sides to have that playoff atmosphere to play in a game like that. Even for BU, who lost, I mean, this is almost like a dry run for the playoffs in a way, right?
Yeah, for sure. And what I always say is BU's getting every team, their opposing team, they're getting their 150% effort. Everybody's going to play BU as if they are the best team in the country. So it's tough to go about your season knowing that you're going to get every team's best effort every single night.
Similar situation here on the West Coast, the battle for the gold pan. Denver still in celebration mode after sweeping their state rivals, Colorado College, 12-0-0 in their last dozen meetings with the Tigers. And maybe more importantly here, they take over first place. They clinch home ice advantage in round one of the playoffs. So all around, huge deal for them.
Denver chasing that Penrose Cup as well. So they are in a good position for that. But I love the Pioneers decor. I mean, Will Butcher, Adam Plant were so good in this series. CC plays a very tough neutral zone game, 1-1-3. You can't come through it with speed, and Denver's D are just outstanding at breaking out the puck. They don't get too afraid of seeing this tough forecheck in the neutral zone. And then, like you said, I mean, 12-0 against CC, and this is their rival. So DU, great things. They got Borgstrom back. They got Terry back as well. There was some rust on those two, but they'll be back in the lineup this weekend against Miami. So Miami has a lot cut out for them, but this is always a good series to watch.
How many years do you think they've won 20 straight?
16.
16. You were close. 10 off. Well, look at this. Canisius, they extended the nation's longest winning streak. They've won 12 straight and counting. Again, big for them because they guarantee themselves a top 4 finish in the Atlantic hockey standings and home ice advantage for the quarterfinal round. So these teams that keep winning and winning and winning, doing themselves a lot of favors moving forward.
Yeah, and Canisius is a very good team. They were picked low in the Atlantic hockey rankings earlier in the season. They're surprising everybody. They have one of the best goaltenders in the country. Charles Williams is in his graduate year. We mentioned Ferris State earlier. He was their guy for 3 out of the 4 years, and he just decided, that he would see more time with Canisius, and boy is he. I mean, leads the nation in save percentage, actually has the most shots against him for any goaltender in the country. Canisius is balanced as well. You got Dylan McLaughlin, who's one of the better players in Atlantic hockey.
So much action going on. Penn State was out of our Elite Eight at least for a while. They're back in it, as we mentioned off the top, passing their big weekend challenge with flying colors, sweeping the 17th ranked Wisconsin. That looked like a tough series coming in. They sweep Wisconsin. They have another tough series coming up against Minnesota. They look like they could do some damage in that one too. Penn State, sky's the limit for these guys, right?
Yeah, they're back. I mean, there were some naysayers that were saying, hey, I think Penn State's first half run was kind of a fluke, and this sweep over Wisconsin certainly put that to bed. I mean, there were some special individual performances that they needed. In the first half of the season, Dennis Smirnov was very good. Peyton Jones in between the pipes, very good. Nate Soucies. All 3 of those guys were freshmen that were great in the beginning of the season, and they kind of trailed off the second half, but they were unbelievable against Wisconsin. Smirnov had 4 points on Saturday. He's doing the little things. David Goodwin is on his line, great vision. And then Nate Soucies is very skillful. So those 3, in terms of Penn State's younger guys, were playing great.
All right, B, you ready to break down
Always.
Not mentally, but break down. Merrimack, very inconsistent this season, but when they're on, they are on. Jonesy will show us exactly how they want to play. Plus, it's deja vu all over again for Omaha head coach Dean Blais, and it's a testament to the head coaching vet's greatness. That and much more coming up. Well, you know you've been a successful college hockey head coach when you can say you've coached several household NHL names back in their college days. But Omaha head coach Dean Blais takes that to a whole new level, now coaching the sons of those NHL stars he coached back in the 80s.
The left wing wall, here's Archibald, knifing his way in, score!
Over the past several years, a look at the University of Nebraska-Omaha hockey roster would show some striking similarities to another NCHC school 30 years ago. It's no coincidence that one man has been behind the bench for both of those programs. Omaha head coach Dean Blais was an assistant for the University of North Dakota throughout much of the 1980s. On his roster then were players like Jim Archibald, Rick Zombo, Ed Belfour, and Matt Morelli. Fast forward to the first 4 years of the NCHC, and Blais is seeing some similar last names in front of him. Josh Archibald, Dominic Zombo, Dane Belfour, and Mason Morelli are all sons of UND alumni who have made the decision to play their college hockey 7 hours south of Grand Forks, in Omaha.
You know, some of it was by accident, some of it was by design. The Morelli family I've known for a lot of years. You know, Reggie, Mason's grandpa, played at North Dakota. He was an All-American, and then Mason's dad, Matt, played there, and then Mason just fell right in.
For some of those players, they grew up as North Dakota fans, but Blais's connection to their fathers helped lure them south.
I grew up a hardcore Nodak fan. You know, they were my whole family, you know, lived and breathed the University of North Dakota Fighting Sioux. But just talking to Coach Blais and visiting Omaha and seeing the new rink, and it was a pretty special feeling as well.
Archibald, the NCHC's inaugural Player of the Year, Zombo and Belfour have already moved on from Omaha, but Morelli is a sophomore. Blais says he sees a lot of similarities between fathers and sons, both on and off the ice.
Dane Belfour looked like Eddie Belfour in the net, and his mannerisms, the way he prepared and everything. Josh Archibald was always the last one off the ice, like his dad Jimmy was, and Mason Morelli having the same sense of humor in a way as his dad.
For some of the fathers, it's a bit of a tough choice on who to cheer for when the teams meet, North Dakota or Omaha. But more often than not, family takes precedence.
They probably, I mean, they cheer for them a little bit too, but when we're playing them, I think cheer for us, I hope.
Even Coach Blais tunes in for B's Breakdown, where we are right now. One of my favorite times of the week. Now, we've watched Merrimack play championship caliber hockey this season, like the game this past Friday when they beat BC. We've also seen them lose to teams that they, you know, could probably beat and just look like a totally different team. So I know you've sifted through the tape. Tell us what's with this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde sort of phenomenon with them.
When they're at their best, they're unbelievable in the neutral zone. They do three different things, but I want to start in the neutral zone and show you guys just why they are so effective in the neutral zone. Three guys in the neutral zone, clog it up, don't let BC or their opposing team get through it with speed, and then the transition, they get a shot on net right here. We'll take another look at it because you could just see that he has nothing there. He has nowhere to go. Ludwig Larson and Chris LeBlanc were heavy on that puck, and Merrimack got it as a result. So here we go, the second thing I want to touch on, the support. Look how close they are to each other in the defensive zone. It allows them to break out and get something going, and in this case, they score a goal. Hampus Gustafsson was unreal all night. He had a hat trick. We'll touch on his skill, but look how close they are. That's a 5, 6, 7 foot pass. It's a very easy pass. Gustafsson was there, and then you had Cini supporting just in case. And like I said, Gustafsson, this is what we're going to talk about him. Head down, goes to the net, playing big, playing like a man, 6'4". This is exactly what Mark Dennehy preached about him. He changed his style of play, buried one there.
He's a Swede with some finish.
Swede with some finish. And then the back check. Look at Brett Cini. Look at this gap. So two of the Merrimack forwards get caught deep in the zone, but Cini's at F3. He's the high guy. Transitions the puck up the ice, and then once again, they put it in the back of the net. These are obviously good examples of what they do and just, because they're scoring goals. But look at Cini. And he comes back, is the top of that triangle. They outnumbered the puck of BC on that rush. Gustafsson goes to the net, nice pass, another short pass. Tavernier supports him, and Merrimack puts one in the back of the net. Those three things is what Merrimack does extremely well.
Let's hope they're watching. We hit the ice live here on ASN once again this Friday night. Another fantastic double dip. We'll tee up New Hampshire taking on BU and Colgate versus Clarkson. Plus, this week's top 8 plays coming up. Fist pump. All right, again, Brendan, if you've made the horrible mistake of making Friday plans, push them to Saturday or invite everyone over to watch New Hampshire taking on Boston University at 6 p.m. Then at 8:30, it's Colgate and Clarkson. Of course, Jonesy, Boston University licking their wounds after that loss to Harvard in the Beanpot Championship final. You'd think they should get back on the winning track against New Hampshire, but what could derail that?
A slow start could definitely derail that. They didn't come ready to play in that Beanpot final. I mean, they jumped out to a 2-1 lead, but Harvard really took the momentum away. So they need to come in with the right approach mentally and definitely get 60 minutes going. This UNH team has some skill. Tyler Kelleher, one of the most skilled forwards in the country. Then you have Patrick Grasso as well, so they have to be ready for the Wildcats.
All right, in the late game, Colgate bubbling over with confidence after wins over Yale and Brown, but Clarkson, they're on a bit of a roll. They're maybe one of their biggest rolls of the season.
Yeah, I mean, they took down St. Lawrence and Quinnipiac, 2 ECAC rivals, and they lost to Princeton in overtime, which is another very good game for them. And like I was saying, this Clarkson team very poised in there. But I spoke to Don Vaughn of Colgate. He said, we can hang with this Clarkson team if we just push the pace, play fast, get back to what we do. Colgate just needs to learn how to manufacture some more goals because they have one of the better goaltenders in the conference in Charlie Finn. So they can definitely hang in this game with Clarkson if they just do what they're supposed to do, play to their identity.
2 intriguing games. If that's not enough hockey for you Saturday, it'll be Denver traveling to Ohio to take on Miami. The teams are 10-10-2 in the all-time series, as even as you can get. And to push that point even further, Denver and Miami have tied each other in the 2 meetings earlier this season. Even Steven matchup.
Yeah, Ryan Larkin was very good in that series earlier in the year. He's going to have to be good again if they want to play with one of the best teams in the country. Miami is also very banged up, so they'll do what they can, but it's definitely a tough matchup for them. Bill Butcher, I mentioned earlier, Adam Plant, very good for Denver as well. And then they got Henrik Borgstrom back. Troy Terry is also back, and they kind of shook off the rust against CC, so I expect them to be full tilt against Miami this weekend. And if they're going to want to get deep into this postseason, they're going to need it.
Oh, so much hockey to sink our teeth into. 8 amazing plays are coming up right now. Out of the vaults, we break it open, unveil ASN's top 8 plays of the week. Get ready to pick your jaws off the ground. Coming up.
Keep your skates on the ice and keep reaching for the
Top 8 plays of the week. Number 8, Henrik Borgstrom breaking away, puts the puck away.
I love how he just gets the puck in his own zone and feeds 3 Colorado College defenders the length of the ice, and then scoring isn't tough for this
Just
kid.
like that. Looks easy. They say a goal post is a goalie's best friend. In this case, it's defenseman Riker Killen saving the sure goal. Killing it.
Lays out as well. Kapelmaster thanking his D-man right there.
Number 6, it's Northern Michigan goalie Ati Tolvanen making his glove hand his best friend.
I mean, 5 shutouts in a row. What can you say about this?
Number 5, Air Force's Evan Fino steals the puck, then buries the evidence.
Grand larceny. Absolute thief right here. Lifts the stick, turns, spins, all in one motion. I'm going to finish this one off by himself, he says.
Eric Foley is number 4 from Providence, will not be denied of the hat trick. Stays with it here, buries the biscuit. Then he pulls off the wraparound here. All of these goals showing such resilience, Jonesy.
He went to the World Junior Tournament and is now a new player. When you talk to Nate Lehman, he said he has elevated his game tenfold.
And he's number 4. Number 3, Western Michigan Sheldon Dries falls during his breakaway. Back to his skates for the 5-hole notcher. 2-1, number 3. His second goal just as sweet. Bats it out of midair to Twine. Let's take a look right there. Baseball season.
I wonder how much criticism, let's say, he took from his teammates when he tripped over the blue line on that first goal. That was hilarious.
And now he's number 3, Ohio State's Nick Schilke. Sweet dangle. Oh my goodness. And look at the defender. He looks like a scared armadillo.
Fake shot, toe drag, bar down, nothing else he could do.
Number 1, Harvard's Ryan Donato at the Beanpot final. Talk about creating a lane. Nice move, everybody. Gets around everybody.
I mean, he goes around 4 or 5 guys and then beats one of the best in the country in Jake Ottinger. Well, honestly, one of the best pure goal scorers in college hockey.
Could you imagine Doc Emmerich's call of that goal right there?
No, I could not. I'd love to hear some.
He is the voice of NHL hockey, of course, in the U.S., all those great Olympic calls, every Stanley Cup final. But he got his start at Bowling Green, and as they celebrated their arena's 50th anniversary, Doc went back to his roots, called the second period. Very cool.
In an era of 6-foot goaltenders, he is just 5'9", but cat-like. This is thrown right around in front. Score! Mercier! Backhander! Won cleanly by the Falcons on back to Friedman, then to Latorno at the left point. Back to Friedman at the right side. Plays it top of the right wing circle, and it's dealt back into the corner. Bayless with it there, rolled it on back, and it's across now for the setup. They wanted to get it to Friedman, but it's Latorno left side. Quickly on across to the right side, and then a drive by Friedman. He scores! He walked right off the wall at the half boards, drifted right to the top of the right circle, and picked the top right corner, and it was magnificent.
What a treat for those kids getting him to call their goal. I mean, that must have been a thrill, right?
Yeah, and he did so much preparation before the game, so they all actually got to meet him as well, which is cool.
Check us out online, live at asn.com. We'll see you Friday for the doubleheader.